Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Perfect Acceleration Sim Racing, and welcome back to the TOCA Juniors official eSeries. Myself, Jack Werrell, joining you in the commentary box once again. Tom O'Farrell behind the cameras, showing you all of the beautiful imagery you'll be seeing this evening, and of course Mick Sutton, the series organiser at PASR. Where have we been so far this season? We've already ticked off Silverstone, which more or less set the tone up until this point. We were at Croft last week, which produced some absolutely amazing racing. Expect it to be closer tonight as always. Brands Hatch Indy, normally you expect maybe tenths, maybe hundreds of a second separating drivers. Around here, it's going to be thousands. It's going to be very, very close indeed. And next week, on the 27th of March, we head to Alton Park on the Island layouts, and that will be one to turn up for. Make sure you return next week as well. What are the drivers fighting for? Well, in terms of the points and prizes, if you win your respective class, of course, we've split it into juniors and seniors, over 17, under 17, whichever one you fell into at the start of the season. If you do win your respective class, you get yourself a pair of weekend admission tickets to a 2025 Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship round of your choosing, and the driver of the round receives a PASR cap. Easy for me to say. Let's have a look at how close some of the drivers are to going to a round of their choosing this year. At the moment, Nathan Williams tops the in inverted commas outright TOCA Juniors official eSeries championship on 78 points. Albert Henriksen-Bell in second place on 61, Charlie Devlin on 57, Gabriel Norris 54, Elliot Dalton-Ayres 51. Then we get a slightly larger jump back to Elliot Newbury on 39, Thomas Potter on 36, 31 for Jake Pritchley, 27 for Jack Price, and Dino Rowlands rounds out your top 10 on 24 points. So still incredibly close, as you can see. By way of the TOCA Seniors, Jordan Taylor is on 72 points and leading the seniors aspect, ahead of Kyle Felvers on 58, tied on points with Leo Bell. Then it's Peter Cornelius on 43, tied on points with Jacob Gannon. And then tied on 36 points, it's Nicky Taylor and Matt Reid. Harry Dials only a point clear of Ollie Hutton, 8th and 9th on 32 and 31 points respectively. Catherine Potter joins them on 31 points. The seniors, it's very, very close indeed. There's from 2nd down to 10th. they are all sharing points with one another, dependent on which way you cut it. So it's a very, very close championship indeed. So plenty to look forward to by way of championship fights, plenty to look forward to by way of general fights in class and inter-class fights as well. We will see those this evening. Qualifying has just got underway. At the moment, it's Gabriel Norse in the pit lane on a 57.299 that has set the pace. Nathan Williams out there heading onto another lap in the slipstream of Charlie Devlin. Currently, Nathan Williams has posted a 57.328. You'd expect yet further improvement from the championship leader. Charlie Devlin washes slightly wide of the apex, which in turn slightly hampers Nathan Williams' exit. They are being hunted down by Jordan Taylor. He's not too far away. Nicky Taylor returns to the championship this evening after a week out in Venice. So we hope you enjoyed that week out. Nicky Taylor, you can see in the background, your 2024 Clio Cup GB champion. He will be returning for 2025 to see if he can hold on to that championship crown. All will be revealed on whether he can do so in just a couple of weeks' time. They go to Silverstone for the first round. Speaking of racing outside of the sim, if you are eager to try out a Perfect Acceleration sim racing race rig, if you are in or around Donington Park this weekend for the inaugural round of TCR UK, Mick and PASR will be there. So go over, say hello, have a look at what PASR offer and get your hands on one, really. You can get behind the wheel, see what they're like, and they are absolutely amazing. I can tell you from first-hand experience, having driven them on a number of occasions, you really cannot find anything better. Harry Dios coming towards the line. Does he improve? Yes, he does, onto a 58.136. So that shuffles him up the order, up into 12th place. And now qualifying, it's far from settled, really, until the very final lap. Elliot Newbury opts for the pit lane this time by. Thomas Potter, he's been getting quicker and quicker, hasn't he? He's currently sat in 9th place. We'll keep an eye on him as the session wears on. Albert Henriksen Bell with a very quick Sector 1. Can he hook Sector 2 up just as well? If he can, he'll take the shortest line, hugging that white line in the pit wall just to give him the shortest distance towards the line. When he breaks the beam, does he improve? Where does he improve to? Onto the inside of the second row of the grid, onto a 57.365 for Albert Henriksen Bell. Big jump up the order, 66 thousandths away from provisional pole position. And Gabriel Norse. Thomas Potter, how is he getting on? He's just heading on to another flying lap. Had a very good outing at Croft in race number 2. What can he do for setting up race 1 here at Brands Hatch? You can see there's been a couple of drivers get caught out on the exit of Graham Hill Bend, where the car is just spat over the road and towards the Armco barrier. Thomas Potter up in Sector 1. He's got the best part of half a second to find if he wants to be securely on the front row of the grid, at least at this stage in qualifying. We know aerodynamic assistance is incredibly valuable in these cars, so really having someone to follow, you will reap the rewards come the end of qualifying. Thomas Potter towards the line. Does he improve? He does improve his time, not his position, a 57.747 for Thomas Potter. We did see an improvement for Kyle Felvis. He's jumped up the order up into 5th place. Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams have swapped around. Charlie has somewhat tumbled down the order in the early stages. So let's see what he can do about coming towards the front row of the grid. Over the line he will go. Charlie Devlin improves, sets the fastest Sector 2 of anybody, but it's not enough to put him onto the front row. So he goes down to 6th place. A couple of drivers just desperate to get out of the way and make sure they don't hamper anybody else. Riding on board now with Charlie Devlin. I'm just trying to pick out who that might have been that had a bit of a moment at turn 1 trying to get out of the way. I think that was Jack Price. So Jack Price having a small moment. Nathan Williams having a bigger one, bouncing over the curbs, and the car spits one way. He puts an armful of opposite lock in, and unfortunately it spits him back the other way. Charlie Devlin realises he's not going to improve without any aerodynamic assistance, and waits for his mates to catch him up. The Taylors going by in the background. Jordan Taylor leading Nicky Taylor. Both of them trying to improve. Nicky being the chase driver, you'd expect that he should start to improve. Jordan Taylor in 4th, Nicky Taylor in 7th at the moment. There's only a couple of tenths leading Nicky Taylor from Gabriel Norse. Jordan Taylor has only got about a 10th to find. He won't do it on this lap, looking at the Sector 1 time. Towards the line they go, breaks the beam. Neither of them improve. Nicky Taylor does improve his time, but unfortunately not his position on that time of asking. So you will very quickly see how quickly this session disappears. When we first jumped in to see them, there was 9.5 minutes to go. There's now only 5. So it really does start to disappear. Leo Bell feeling that pressure as he has a huge jump up the order with a 57.653. That's up into 8th place for Leo Bell, under the bridge and then up towards Druids. You can afford to be rather late on the brakes there and look for the later apex should you wish. When you've got a car following you, it's not that easy. So Peter Cornelius into turn 1, washes slightly wide of the apex. Does he keep it out of the gravel? Yes, he does. Well held, and he will continue on. Nathan Williams, he's bettered Gabriel Norse's fastest sector 1. What can he do out of the final corner? Well, preferably not what Nicky Taylor has just done and park the car at pit exit, or pit entry, pardon me. He gets going again. Nathan Williams with no aerodynamic assistance. Can he go top? Yes, he can by 1,000th of a second, 57.298. And Nathan Williams goes on to provisional pole position. Gabriel Norse is 2,000th shy of what he would have needed. In theory, 1,000th shy if he set that earlier on. If they do set the exact same time, it all boils down to who set the time earlier in the session. So Gabriel Norse will feel pretty hard done by. You'd rather have a bit of a bigger gap, really. Here is Finley TW through the final corner. He will come, and with a big improvement in sector 1. Let's see if he can jump up the order and improve upon his time. We did see Catherine Potter, or Thomas Potter, just slightly further up the road. Catherine Potter just slightly further down the road. Finley over the line, breaks the beam, does improve with 58.895. That bumps him up a couple of places, up into 21st position. There was a car running slightly wide. You could hear them running through the gravel. Apologies, Finley, I didn't mean you. Ollie Hutton, has he ran out of fuel? He's parked the car quite nicely, actually, rather parallel to the gravel trap. No, he gets back going once again, waits for the opportune moment to rejoin the circuit when nobody is coming, shaking the car side to side, getting rid of either gravel or just trying to see how the car feels. Whether he had a bit of a nudge into the wall, we simply don't know. Alba Henriksen Bell now onto another lap. Currently second in the junior class. Onto the Cooper Straight he will go. Is this an outlap for Alba Henriksen Bell? I don't think it is, looking at the timing. No, it isn't, but 3.5 tenths down in sector 1 isn't going to be good enough for what he needs. He needs 68 thousandths of a second to get onto provisional pole. That may come out yet further because Nathan Williams is improving once again. Charlie Devlin punching the TOCA Junior sized hole in the air. So towards the line that little trio will go. Will we see Nathan Williams extend that margin at the top of the times? Towards the beam they will go. And Nathan Williams does improve by quite some margin. A 57.137 puts him almost 2 tenths clear of Gabriel Norse. Alba Henriksen Bell, who we were just talking about, has now lost out to Charlie Devlin, who went through and improved onto a 57.320. What a lap from Nathan Williams. That just extends that provisional pole margin that he had already over Gabriel Norse. So back down the hill they will go into Paddock Hill Bend. There is, or Graham Hill Bend, pardon me. There is Harry Dios, just picking his way through the final corner. Gabriel Norse has seen that his time has been bettered at the top of the times and has returned to the circuit, I think, now to try and improve upon the lap he set earlier on. Here comes Harry Dios. You'd expect an improvement. Currently sat 13th, breaks the beam, goes 12th on a 58.010. So good improvement from Harry Dios. Still a bit more to find, you should imagine. And that's not the way to do it. Just touching the gravel slightly. That will hamper the lap time. Gabriel Norse with a very fetching livery on his TOCA Junior. Currently sat right up and behind Elliot Newbury. Thomas Potter running very, very wide through Graham Hill Bend, just looking for those extra few tenths, the extra few thousandths in this case, to shuffle him up the order that little bit further. Gabriel Norse down in sector 1. What can he do about going on to the final lap of his qualifying session and improving yet further? So towards the line he will go. I'm just seeing who else we may have. Gabriel Norse has had a bit of a moment at turn 1, so it will invalidate his lap this time. The car he was following improves. Elliot Newbury onto a 57.622, so he goes yet further up the order. We may see an improvement from Charlie Devlin, mainly because he's pulled away from Nathan Williams, and Nathan Williams is on to better his provisional pole time. So towards the line they will go. Charlie Devlin breaks the beam and goes onto the front row of the grid onto a 57.236, and over the line by what, half a second. Nathan Williams is slower than the lap prior. We've got a very slow car coming out of turn 1. That's one of the KKM cars. Ollie Hutton again coming to some sort of strife. Is that car tracking straight? I think it was. It was just the way it approached the circuit. It didn't quite look like it was going well, struggling to really get the car under his spell this evening. It still doesn't look like it's handling quite right. Catherine Potter opting for the pit lane this time as well, so there will be no further improvement from her. Thomas Potter, he's heading towards the line. Charlie Devlin now. Nathan Williams, having had his pole margin go from 1,000th of a second up to the best part of 2/10, it may all of a sudden get cut down here from the best part of a 10th of a second, because Charlie Devlin is up in sector 1, albeit with no aerodynamic assistance, so this could all come unravelled for Charlie Devlin. Goes over the line, breaks the beam. No improvements, unfortunately, for Charlie Devlin. The last time through, a 57.323 is about a 10th off what we know he can do. So the track falls quieter and quieter. Aaron Beattie towards the line. Last minute improvement from him. 22nd place. Jumps up to 20th on a 58.644. Callum Williams over the line. No improvement from Callum. Jordan Taylor limping the car into the pit lane. It sounded like he was struggling to grab a gear. Elliot Newbury heading into the final corner now, and he will look for an improvement. He's chasing a couple of cars. Are they close enough to give him any sort of aerodynamic benefit? No, he's into the pit lane this time. Decides he's not going to improve. Jordan Taylor, I think, more or less celebrating his junior class pole, or his senior class pole position. Pardon me. In the meantime, Nathan Williams, you join us in the commentary box. Wow, initially we thought your pole margin was going to be 1,000th of a second. Where did the time come from at the end of the session? You just kept improving and improving and improving.
I think me and Charlie, so we're trying to just give each other the toe, and I think at the start we just kept encountering traffic or just messing up our laps, and then I think I got I went on pole by 1,000th on my own, and then I think I then did another lap and I had the toe from Charlie, and it really helped just pull me up there, like that extra 10th, so yeah.
And what is it at Brands Hatch? Because it's famous for having incredibly close lap times, but in this case, it was to be 1,000th on your own is very impressive. What do you have to do around here to extract the time from the car?
I think it's just a lot of commitment. It's quite a short lap time, but all the corners are quite tricky, so it's very easy to lose lots of time. So it's about being quite precise, because you really want to push the edge of track limits and the gravel on quite a lot of the corners. So it's all about knowing where the edges of the grip are and where the edges of the track are.
And the plan for the night, extend the lead margin to a point where it's somewhat insurmountable heading into Alton Park?
That's the goal, yeah, but I think it's just try to stay ahead of my championship rivals and not lose points to them.
Great stuff. We look forward to seeing it. Congratulations on another pole position, Nathan.
Thank you.
And joining us in the commentary box for the senior class pole position is Jordan Taylor. Jordan, you were towards the end of that session. You were just at, I think, that point where when you were finding time, it was 1,000th here and 1,000th there. Did you find that wall and then sort of settle for that, or was it just you couldn't extract that extra bit that you wanted?
No, on my fastest lap at the start, I lost time due to traffic, and then, as Nathan was saying a minute ago, it's just traffic. You'd be up, and you'd come to the last sector, and there'd be someone either waiting to go on a lap, or there'd be something happening. So I'd find it here and there, but then when I fully got it hooked up, I couldn't finish the lap because something happened. And that's the joys for Brands Hatch Indy, especially with this many cars.
And we know how close it was at Silverstone, and obviously very flat out. Croft just provided its own challenges. Brands Hatch, it's known for having incredibly close racing, with the difficulty to get a gap and then hold on to the gap, especially with how strong the aerodynamic assistance is. On a circuit like Brands Hatch, it's going to be a busy night.
Yeah, I mean, Silverstone, much longer straights. Brands actually tried to stay anyone for qualifying, because personally I don't think there was enough. And I think when you're own, obviously you can see more of the track when you're right, when you're waiting on them. So yeah, I just did my own thing for quali. In the race, it's gonna be a different story. If I just need to stay ahead of the senior class, but no, me, when I get in the race, I want to be overall top. So yeah, we'll just see how we get on with that. As much as I like to think I think smart, once you're in a race, if you're not at the front pack, you're not at the front pack. But sometimes got to remember there's two classes, which is quite hard when you're in the moment. You've got the adrenaline pumping through you.
It is, isn't it? So, well, best of luck and massive congratulations on another pole position in class.
Cheers.
So great to hear from Jordan Taylor, our senior class pole sitter. In the meantime, we will just go for a very brief break prior to race 1 getting underway. Welcome back, everybody. The grid has formed for race number 1 of the evening. Nathan Williams lines up on pole position. Charlie Devlin alongside. Keep an eye on Gabriel Norse as well from the second row of the grid, and Albert Henriksen-Bell on starting in 4th place. Albert Henriksen-Bell, very, very quick in race number 1. Race 2 doesn't seem to go his way. So for the first time this evening, 6 red lights, and as they extinguish, it's a good start from Nathan Williams. Gabriel Norse gets a good start. Charlie Devlin immediately comes over to try and defend. Albert Henriksen-Bell under pressure from Jordan Taylor in the background. Everybody arrives at turn 1, and there's not even a hint at a lift, really, is it? Flat out through turn 1 on the first lap. Albert Henriksen-Bell has lost out to Jordan Taylor. Jordan Taylor immediately looking up the inside of Gabriel Norse. Nathan Williams at the front, just trying to keep an eye on his rearview mirror and try and get those cars that are within it as far away as possible in the early stages. Already a pack starting to form. Jordan Taylor more or less bridging the gap between that front pack and everybody else left in that mid pack. But it all seems very, very calm indeed for the first lap. A few changes further down. Callum Williams has lost out to Ollie Hutton, who continues to dice his way around the order. Albert Henriksen-Bell loses out once more, that time to Kyle Felvis, and unfortunately, as soon as I said it seemed rather quiet, Ollie Hutton goes tumbling down the order as he got it slightly wrong at the end of the Cooper Straight. But over the line for the first time of asking, it's Nathan Williams that ticks lap number 1 in the book. And is it going to remain that way? Because Charlie Devlin dives to the inside and he just about draws himself level on the exit. Up the hill they go, up towards Druids. Is it going to be Nathan Williams? Is it going to be Charlie Devlin? Charlie Devlin on the brakes, position just about secured. So into the lead goes Charlie Devlin. Jordan Taylor on an absolute mission. We heard from him a few moments ago with the post-qualifying interview. Peter Cornelius has come to strive further down the order on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. He gets the car pointing the right way again, but Jordan Taylor really starting to push on now, all over the coattails of Gabriel Norse, who is more or less best of the rest at the moment, because Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams are already starting to build that gap. Late on the brakes, up the inside goes Jordan Taylor on the run through McLaren and Clearways. A bit of contact between them just washes the pair of them out wide, so going rattling up the inside is Kyle Felvis. He decides that door is open enough for a TOCA Junior, and following him through that gap it is Albert Henriksen-Bell riding on board with him now. He's on the inside of Jordan Taylor by the time we arrive at turn 1. Jordan Taylor brave enough to hold it all the way around the outside. In turn he's trying to fight back at Kyle Felvis on the run up towards Druids. Albert Henriksen-Bell still on the inside of Gabriel Norse. Jordan Taylor is still just about on the outside of Albert Henriksen-Bell as well, but you'd imagine down the hill, Jordan Taylor with the inside at Graham Hill Bend should secure that position. Yes, he has. So Jordan Taylor picks up a place and he's up into 4th. Albert Henriksen-Bell will be trying to carve that position back away from him. Leo Bell has just got through and past the car of Gunnar Wright. There is Henriksen-Bell. He's got Gabriel Norse sat behind him. Jordan Taylor, who's pushing on up the road and doing what he can to make inroads into the gap between himself and Kyle Felvis. Our top 2, however, now the best part of 1.5 seconds away from the chasing pack. So Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams really starting to pull away. Harry Dios has had a moment through the final corner, sat in the middle of the road, struggling to decide on which way to go. And I think he just about picked the right way and managed to get the car to somewhat relative safety out of the way of the cars arriving, but Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams up the road starting to pull away. Jordan Taylor late on the brakes, dives up the inside, a bit of contact between himself and Kyle Felvis. They both shuffle wide of the apex, get more contact between them, so really starting to shoulder each other around, and Kyle Felvis somehow holds on to that place. Jordan Taylor remains the chase, and Gabriel Norse now looking at the inside of Albert Henriksen Bell. It will be the inside for Surtees. And for the moment, those two remain as they are. You can see Jordan Taylor is doing absolutely everything he can to work his way through and past Kyle Felvis. There's contact in a straight line, which we never like to see, but they really are fighting over every inch of the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. In towards turn one they will go. Kyle Felvis opting for the outside this time. Not that he had much of a choice. Jordan Taylor goes flying up the inside, and they're still side by side on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. Up the hill they will go in towards Druids, and Jordan Taylor this time manages to get the position secured. Gabriel Norse, however, dives up the inside, spins Jordan Taylor through 180 degrees. They both get collected up in the same incident. Kyle Felvis remains in third place. Albert Henriksen Bell will now be fighting to get onto the outright podium. Kyle Felvis at present leading the senior class. If Albert Henriksen Bell gets through, Nicky Taylor is in the driving seats to try and push a gap to the lead. Unfortunately, Elliot Newbury, I think, just dabbed the brakes on the grass. That spun him through 90 degrees. He manages to rejoin the circuit, but he's hemorrhaged positions up until that point. There is the recovering Gabriel Norse just jumping through shot as well. Albert Henriksen Bell seems to be working with Kyle Felvis at this stage in the race. We're only a quarter of a way in, so you'd imagine there's no real need to fight. Kyle Felvis will want that as well. He'll want to try and build a gap between himself and Nicky Taylor, who is starting to close down on that duo up the road. Now Albert Henriksen Bell seizes the opportunity to jump to the inside. That will be the outside for Graham Hill Bend. On the brakes, pitch the car in, and we saw that Nathan Williams in qualifying used a bit too much curb, and that put the car up onto two wheels and really took away any balance that he had collected on the way into Graham Hill Bend. Now we see Albert Henriksen Bell go for a lunge up the inside at Surtees. It's not going to work in towards McLaren and Clearways, and they both just about get through there. I think somewhat starved for room was Albert Henriksen Bell. He gets a brilliant run, however, on the exit of the final corner, and then along the straight they will go towards the line to tick yet another lap in the book, heading on to lap number 7 now. And Albert Henriksen Bell not, I think, eager to go for the move in towards turn 1. The opportunities that seem to favour him are in towards Graham Hill Bend and in towards Surtees from what we've seen over the previous couple of laps. Jack Price losing a place to the recovering Elliot Newbury, who we saw go for a spin earlier on in the race. Elliot comes over to half defend, places the car in the middle of the road, makes it hard work for Jack Price, so he will slowly start to fall into the hands of Aaron Beattie, you'd imagine, sat there in 12th place. Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams remain 2 tenths apart, but lapping much quicker than all of the cars around them. Last time through, Nathan Williams set the fastest lap of the race, a 57.327, albeit Charlie Devlin has had a good opening aspect of this lap and may start to challenge for the outright fastest lap of the race. There's only a tenth between them, but there's 4.1 seconds back to Kyle Felvis. Over the line they go, and by 1,000th of a second, Charlie Devlin isn't quite quick enough to take the fastest lap of the race away by Nathan Williams. Charlie Devlin last time through on a 57.328. Nathan Williams fastest lap of the race, a 57.327. So it's very, very close indeed. Kyle Felvis still under big pressure from Albert Henriksen Bell. Nicky Taylor still giving chase. Keep an eye on that car in the background, however. Thomas Potter is starting to close in on that little trio. Nicky Taylor, I think, struggling for that extra little bit to challenge for the senior class race lead. Jake Critchley as well just sat in the background, separating the Taylors. You've got Thomas Potter, who we're watching, and Jake Critchley, and then Jordan Taylor, who's still recovering from that earlier incident between himself and Gabriel Norse. However, he's starting to close in. Ollie Wilcox, unfortunately, has gone for a spin on the exit of Graham Hill or Paddock Hill Bend, so that has dropped him right the way down the order into 23rd place. Charlie Devlin still holding on to the lead, last time through with the fastest lap of the race, a 57.259. That's coupled with the outright fastest sector 1 is the way to do it. That's what we thought we'd saw only a lap ago. Albert Henriksen Bell still applying that pressure onto Carl Felvis. Jake Wardle picking the pocket of Catherine Potter now towards the line, draws the car to the middle of the road by way of, I think, of a defence. But in turn, that has opened the door on the inside for Catherine Potter. Is she going to have a look later on the brakes? A half look, but decided not this time. That will leave us slightly vulnerable to Harry Dios, a little bit further behind. Jake Critchley applying the pressure onto Jordan Taylor. No, he's just lost out to Jordan Taylor. So Jordan Taylor has managed to get through and up into 7th place now. So the only driver separating the two Taylors is Thomas Potter in 6th place. 11 and a bit minutes to go. Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams, who's going to be the first to blink? Because one of them has to decide, are they going to start defending? And the other's got to decide, are they going to start attacking? Because at this stage in the race, they just seem to be working together. Jake Critchley now under pressure from... No, Gabriel Norse has gone through and passed Jake Critchley, so those two have swapped around. I think into turn 1 we saw that change. Down in towards Graham Hill Bend they go, and continue to fight. Nathan Williams pushing Charlie Devlin through Surtees. You can see the car become combined and the balance of the car start to move around, and that just hampered Charlie Devlin very, very slightly. Albert Henriksen Bell now looks for the move on the inside of Carl Felvis. There was a bit of rubber banding between them, but Albert Henriksen Bell, he read the situation perfectly. Up the inside he will go, in towards turn 1. Albert Henriksen Bell now taking over 3rd place, but all of a sudden the overspeed swings the way of Carl Felvis. Is Albert still there? He's half on the inside, but it's not enough at the halfway point of the race, and Leo Bell has gone for a spin on the exit of the final corner. There was another car with him, that was Callum Williams. I don't know whether there was contact between them, it just seemed like an innocent spin from Leo Bell. Harry Dios caught up in another incident, this time with Jake Wardle. You'd imagine there was contact between them going off the location of both the cars on the exit of the final corner. Nathan Williams still hunting down Charlie Devlin. He's just trying to find the gap that he wants, and at the moment it's not coming his way. But of course, how long does he want to be in the lead for? Because behind Charlie Devlin he will be saving that little bit of fuel, but he controls the race. He can decide to push that little bit harder and try and force a mistake out of Charlie Devlin, but he can also back off a little bit, allow Charlie to get complacent and then attack for the race lead. There is Albert Henriksen Bell still hunting down Kyle Felvis. Into turn 1 they go, and they remain as they are. Nicky Taylor with the best seats in the house. Now are we going to see the change? Late on the brakes up the inside. Albert Henriksen Bell gets to the apex first at Druids. And is he going to get the run down the hill that he wants? No, they're still going to be side by side in towards Graham Hill Bend. On the brakes, Albert Henriksen Bell around the outside. Is he going to get starved for room? Gets given just about enough, and they're still side by side along the Cooper Straight. In towards Surtees, the outside isn't usually the favoured, but it can give you the inside for McLaren and Clearways, and if he can stay there, which he can, Albert Henriksen Bell might just get himself into 3rd place. Yes, he does. This time, through the final corner they go, and Albert Henriksen Bell, they're still side by side. He's still on the inside. Similar situation to what we saw just a couple of laps ago. Towards Paddock Hill Bend, Carl Felvis on the outside. He's going to have to be very, very brave on the brakes if he's in with a shout of holding on to 3rd place, and it's not enough. So that little battle hasn't cost him vast amounts of time, but Nicky Taylor will now be watching on, trying to take the lead away from Carl Felvis in the senior class. Carl Felvis is trying to fight back up the inside of Albert Henriksen Bell, and where we saw the swap previously, we see the swap again. So Albert Henriksen Bell loses out to Carl Felvis, back down into 4th place, and decides he's not going to have another look up the inside. So those two remain in 3rd and 4th respectively. Jordan Taylor will be hoping this battle continues, because it's going to cost them ever more time, and he might just be in with a shout of getting the senior class race lead away from Kyle Felvis. So towards the line they go once again. They remain as they were. Oliver Watson currently chasing down Finley and Matt Reid. Matt Reid, apologies, is on the outside. Oliver, ever the optimist, dives up the inside along the Cooper Straight and should just about pick up a place. Yes, he does. Picks up 2 places as he heads through Surtees and towards McLaren and Clearways. Positions made for Ollie Watson, so that puts him into 15th place. Charlie Devlin still leading the way from Nathan Williams. Albert Henriksen-Bell has got back through and past Kyle Felvis, so we've seen those two change. Gabriel Norris has managed to go through and past Thomas Potter, although there's a bit of contact between the pair of them. Thomas Potter struggling to get the nose of the car turned in, and I think, yeah, clever driving from Thomas Potter. He realised that the understeer, obviously there was no malice, no intent there. He just realised the car washed wide into Gabriel Norris and immediately self-rectified that. So clever driving from Thomas Potter, fair play. But in turn, that's cost them both a position, and Jordan Taylor now fires his way up into 6th place and remains on the podium for the TOCA Senior class. Coming into this, the TOCA Senior pole sitter, and I think the TOCA Senior Championship leader, yes he did. This race can go one of two ways for him, and one of two ways for our two leaders. Charlie Devlin on the inside of Nathan Williams, starved for room on the outside, tries to turn in, yet more contact between the pair of them. Nathan Williams gets pushed wide. Charlie Devlin gives him just about enough room to rejoin the racing surface. Heading through Surtees, will Charlie Devlin have enough of an overlap? Yes, he will, so he holds onto the race lead for now. Nathan Williams late on the brakes, dives his way up the inside, gets to the apex, and will be in the lead for now. Charlie Devlin on the outside is not going to have enough by the time we get to the line, so Nathan Williams is going to hold on to this lead and tick what I think will be only his 2nd lap leading this race onto the timesheets. In towards turn 1 they go, a bit of hip and shoulder. Charlie Devlin tries to hold the car around the outside, he just about gets it round, starved for room once again, avoids the gravel nicely. Nathan Williams holds on to the lead, bit of moving in the braking, but Charlie Devlin manages to fire the car up the inside, and wasn't really much room for Charlie to put the car into. He managed to find a bit at the expense of Nathan Williams, and at the expense of the race lead. So Charlie Devlin holds on to the race lead for now. Nathan Williams remains in 2nd place, albeit he will be really hunting down that outright race lead. Nicky Taylor has closed in massively to Kyle Felvis and Albert Henriksen-Bell in the background, as those two were battling a few laps ago. Nicky Taylor could be on for a senior class race lead. Even more important, I think, at this stage of the championship, a senior class race win, because that will jump him up a few positions in respect to the other drivers in class. Over the line we go with 4.5 minutes remaining on the clock. And Charlie Devlin holds on to the lead ahead of Nathan Williams. Albert Henriksen-Bell, Kyle Felvis and Nicky Taylor cross the line absolutely together. There's nothing to pick between them. Nathan Williams makes his own room on the inside using a bit of grass. Charlie Devlin opts for the outside line, albeit with very little choice. Nathan Williams unwinds the steering and just moves Charlie Devlin wide of the apex. It was only going to go one way, and Charlie unfortunately rejoins down in 5th place. So now Albert Henriksen-Bell is up into 2nd place, and 2nd place in class as well. Kyle Felvis up into outright 3rd place, but still leading the senior class with Jordan Taylor with Nicky Taylor, hot on his heels. Charlie Devlin rejoins in 5th place, still 3rd and on the podium in the TOCA Junior class. There is Kyle Felvis in more or less the meat in the sandwich at the moment, because he's still hunting down Albert Henriksen-Bell and Nicky Taylor. Looking at Nicky Taylor towards the line, he's just still not quite there. That seems to be the story of his race. He's just not quite been close enough to mount that challenge onto Kyle Felvis for the class lead. Through Paddock Hill Bend once again, Harry Dios spins in front of the race leaders, decides to just leave the car where it is, make it nice and easy to read for anybody approaching. Clever driving from Harry Dios, because if he'd started to move, you never know, somebody might have gone the way that Harry wanted to be. So Kyle Felvis doesn't really lose much time off the back of that stationary car in the middle of the road, and continues to hunt down Albert Henriksen-Bell, who is trying to get through and past Catherine Potter. That costs him a little bit of time, but not too much. He will get through this time on the brakes in towards the final corner. Kyle Felvis goes through the same gap, so too does Nicky Taylor. So as the time continues to ebb away, Nathan Williams has got no challenge up at the front, but this is the battle for the final steps on the outright podium and the first couple on the TOCA Senior class podium. Now it's all about traffic management, I think, for Albert Henriksen-Bell, because Peter Cornelius is that car just up the road who stays on the outside, and you'd imagine we'll do the same up at Druids. Yep, clever driving from Peter, jumps out of the way, allows the faster cars through, and then can pick up his fight with Catherine Potter on the exit of Druids Corner into Graham Hill Bend once again. Jordan Taylor fighting his way through and past Gabriel Norris. Graham Hill Bend once again. No, position not made. Onto the keeper straight. Does Jordan Taylor get the better run? No, not this time. This is going to be close between the pair of them because they don't really need to fight this because there's no points on the line in class for the pair of them. I think they are now just having a bit of a ruck, hoping that they can still make something of their respective races. Nicky Taylor up the road, currently sat in 4th place, and again he's still just not quite there, is Nicky. He's missing out on that little bit that I think he needs to mount a challenge onto Carl Felvis. There is Catherine Potter, who has worked her way through and past Peter Cornelius. You'd imagine a small mistake for Peter has not only allowed Catherine through, but allowed her just to extend the margin to get herself into the top 20. Charlie Devlin still hunting down the cars up the road. You can see the car was all crossed up on the way in towards Druids Corner, so he's pushing hard, but with a minute of the race to go, that works out to what's left of this lap and one more. I think it's too little too late, unfortunately, for Charlie. He'll have to settle for 3rd place in class and 5th overall unless Nicky Taylor starts to fight with those cars up the road and they really slow each other down on the final lap of race number 1 of the evening. Nathan Williams on the run towards the line has already gone through the line actually and is already in towards turn number 1, so he's really pushing on is Nathan Williams. So he will go through and break the beam. There goes Albert Henriksen Bell and Carl Felvis. Nicky Taylor working his way through a bit of traffic. Charlie Devlin will have to do the same once more. Albert Henriksen Bell, I said keep an eye on him for that pace that he unlocks in race number 1, and this is going to be a good haul of points for the driver currently sat 2nd in the championship, in the junior championship. I'll correct myself. So Nathan Williams on the final lap of the race, he's got a bit more traffic to deal with. You can imagine that won't be too much of an issue. He can afford to lose a bit of time. It's Ollie Hutton that he needs to get through and past, and it might just about happen towards the line. One of Albert Henriksen Bell and Charlie Devlin, they're not quite close enough. Albert Henriksen Bell and Carl Felvis, pardon me. There goes Nathan Williams. So for the first time this evening, race number 1 goes the way of Nathan Williams. He crosses the line to take the outright race win, and the win, of course, in the junior class. Albert Henriksen Bell crosses the line after fighting his way through and past Carl Felvis to finish 2nd and 2nd in class as well. Carl Felvis over the line to round out your overall podium and to win the senior aspect of the race. Nathan Williams, Nicky Taylor, pardon me, over the line to finish 4th overall and 2nd in the senior class. Charlie Devlin rounds out your junior class podium. Gabriel Norse over the line in 6th place, and Jordan Taylor over the line to round out your senior class podium. Thomas Potter over the line to finish in 8th place. Jake Critchley in 9th. Elliot Newbury rounds out your top 10. Then it was Jack Price and Leo Bell we've just seen flash over the line. Here comes Callum Williams to finish in 13th place, and Aaron Beattie in 14th. The next car over the line will be Ollie Watson. So he goes through and breaks the beam now to finish in 15th place. Matt Raid and Finley TW over the line to finish in 16th and 17th respectively. There goes Jake Wardle, and we've already seen Ollie Hutton, Peter Cornelius, Catherine Potter, Harry Dios, Gunnar Wright and Ollie Wilcox over the line. Ollie Wilcox, unfortunately, not making it to the end of the race. Nathan Williams, we've already spoken to you once this evening. We're speaking to you again. That can only mean one thing: a race 1 win. Good haul of points for the championship.
Yeah, it was a very good race. I think me and Charlie pulled away at the start, and then I just waited till the end to try and overtake him. We had an incident. We had an incident up at Druids. I'm not entirely sure what happened. If it's my fault, so I'll hold my hand up. And yeah, I'm sorry to Charlie for whatever happened there. But apart from that, the race went quite well.
And for race 2, obviously, that's always the busy one, starting at the very back, especially so, because you've got everybody to try and fight your way through. We know it can get rather close on the first couple of laps, is probably putting it mildly. So is there anything you do maybe to driving style? Do you just take it easy over the first couple of laps, or do you become maybe slightly more aggressive to get those cars out of the way and then focus on the driving after that?
I think you be quite aggressive to try and work your way up the grid. But I think you have to always have that element of caution. There's been quite a few incidents in these second races. So I think it's very much trying to avoid them, get your way through. Because as I saw last week, obviously just keeping yourself clean can help so much for getting up the grid. Yeah,
it really, really can. So I guess race 2, that's yet to be decided. Maybe somewhat premature. Alton Park next week. The championship is going to go down to the wire. You'd imagine there will still be opportunities all over the grid for improvements. is there anything that maybe you do tonight that will change what you do next week? Is it going to be a good race too, and then you can afford yourself a bit more leverage heading into Alton Park? Or
I think the main goal is just to not lose as many points. You can lose so many points by being involved in an incident, and you can't gain much by keeping your throttle pinned and gaining the 2/10 you would. So I think it's just trying to have that extra caution for all the incidents, knowing that if I lose 3 points a race, I'm still fine. So I don't need to always be ahead. I just need to try and be as good as fast as I can while still trying to be clean.
great stuff. Always good to chat, Nathan, and a massive congratulations on another race win, and best of luck for race 2.
Thank you.
So good to chat with Nathan Williams and Kyle Felvis over the line to finish 3rd place outright, so onto the overall podium and to take the win in the senior class, albeit you and Albert Henriksen-Bell not in the same class. That was a good little fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Raced Albert a few times, I know, back in JSCC as well. Albert can race, he's very clean, very considerate, and it's always a good battle with Albert.
And you're hoping for more of the same? I know you're starting at the back, so you've got all of your senior class competitors to fight your way through, but if you two find each other again, are you more just going to take that as it comes and have a bit of a scrap, or maybe a bit of working together to get through the order?
Yeah, for sure. Just seeing the situation, really. I mean, if we need to work together and push through, then that will be it. But if we can have a bit of a battle, I'm sure we will.
Great stuff. Well, we'll look forward to it. Massive congratulations on a senior class win, and best of luck for race number 2, Kyle.
Cheers, Jack.
So good to chat with Kyle as always. We always find an excuse really to chat to him and Nathan Williams. Charlie Devlin is a recurring member of the commentary box, so hopefully we can speak to some more drivers in about 20 minutes time. But at the moment, before we get race 2 underway, let's have another quick word from us. So welcome back to Brands Hatch, everybody. The grid is forming for race number 2, and we can see exactly in what order they will line up. So Gunnar Wright at the very front of the order. He will lead the field in towards turn 1. Who do we have that's maybe somewhat, not necessarily out of position, but towards the middle, where they can really start to get into the meat of the pack? Elliot Newbury in 14th place, Jake Critchley in 15th, Thomas Potter in 16th. Any of those three can be on for a good race and to climb their way up through the order. We've still got that empty spot awaiting the arrival of Jordan Taylor. Nicky Taylor is already on the grid, but Jordan Taylor is yet to join us. So hopefully, there you go, he does take up his position once again. So a bit of jumping around. He will, he should hopefully join us on the grid for the start of race number 2. A grid start might be interesting actually if he does opt for that option. He's currently sat in his pit box and he will have to wait for the lights to go out before he can even roll from the very top of the pit lane towards pit exit. The clock continues to tick down as we get closer and closer to another 20-minute action-packed race here at Brands Hatch. Gunnar Wright and Harry Dios on the front row, Catherine Potter and Peter Cornelius on the second row. Third row is made up of Ollie Hutton and Jake Wardle. And it's Finley TW and Matt Raid on row number 4. Row 5 is Ollie Watson and Aaron Beattie. They are your front 5 rows. The lights are getting ready to get this race underway. So 1 turns to 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and for the second and final time tonight we go racing at Brands Hatch. It's a good start from Gunnar Wright on pole position. He immediately gets a good launch. The second phase of the start is matched by Harry Dios. Everybody else in the background is shuffling around. Thomas Potter trying to find a bit of real estate to put his car into. He immediately tries to apply the pressure onto the cars up the road, and unfortunately dropping down the order is Jake Wardle and Ollie Hutton, the pair of those two collecting each other by the time we got to the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. Everybody dives in towards Druids, and well, what, 4 wide in the background. A couple of cars almost get turned around. Nicky Taylor, ever the optimist on the grass to try and get through, and there's a spin for Peter Cornelius. He spins in front of the field, thankfully gets the car out of the way and has the foresight to do so. Yet more contact in the background as we've got a couple of cars spinning, but Gunnar Wright with a bit of a moment up at Druids. He lost a bit of time to Harry Dios, but it wasn't enough for Harry to really start mounting that challenge. Who do we have that's really jumped up the order? I said Elliot Newbury, keep an eye on him. He's already up into 8th place. Gabriel Norse is up into 9th place. Carl Felbus up into 10th. Charlie Devlin is up into 9th place. So as the laps continue to tick by, it's still Gunnar Wright leading the way. Harry Dios in 2nd place, Aaron Beattie in 3rd, Callum Williams in 4th, Leo Bell 5th place, Finley TW is in 6th place, Carl Felbus is in 7th, Catherine Potter in 8th, Charlie Devlin has just worked his way through and past Thomas Potter up into 8th place now. So Charlie Devlin picks up another place up into 8th, Thomas Potter down to 9th, Gabriel Norse in 10th place. Albert Henriksen Bell has had a troublesome start to his race. He's still down in 17th place. Who else do we have further down the order? Where has Nathan Williams got up to? Nathan Williams up into 11th place, so he continues to fight on. Callum Williams has just worked his way through and past Harry Dios. So Harry Dios is shuffling around in 2nd place, but as soon as Callum Williams gets the place, he tumbles too. So Harry Dios back up into 2nd place. Aaron Beattie is in 3rd, so heading on to another lap of the race. Along the start-finish line, we will go in a few moments' time. Packs have started to form. Gunnar Wright right the way down to... It is Gabriel Norse, so that is first down to 9th place, have built their way into a pack as we see them tearing in towards turn 1 now. Thomas Potter and everybody else thereafter has fallen into that mid-pack, which at the moment is, I think, being led by Nathan Williams. So the top 10 all in amongst themselves, but Callum Williams gets a bit of contact from the car behind, and he will tumble down the order. I think it was Callum Williams got a bit of a nudge, and that just shuffled him wide of the apex. I don't know whether Carl Felbus was involved in that one, and whether Carl Felbus was helped to the rear of Callum Williams, but that's where we see him drop down the order. So we'll await the timings to work their way out. Thomas Potter, I think, is... I'm trying to just figure out whereabouts he is on the timing screen. So Tom Potter, as it updates, is into 8th place. So the timing screen shuffles around, and we've got the times back. Callum Williams, it says he's in 6th place. By my math, I think he's in about 8th place looking at the cars around him now. So we've got a couple of cars already a lap down, which may be a possibility in towards turn number 1. I'm just having a look to see who we have around, and I think we might have a couple of cars somewhat out of position, but Callum Williams there is still fighting on after that small incident. It does say that Catherine Potter has opted for the pit lane this time. Yes, she has. So Catherine Potter into the pit lane. She will go. Currently down in 24th place. I'll go off the timing screen on my end. And Nathan Williams picking up a couple of places along the Cooper Straight. Nathan Williams now jumps up into 6th place after working his way through and past Thomas Potter. Aaron Beattie will be the next car on his hit list. So leading the way, Charlie Devlin. Charlie Devlin is only, 2/10 clear of Carl Felbus. Gabriel Norse now, 3/4 of a second away from those top two. So Charlie Devlin and Carl Felbus at the front of the field starting to run away. Gabriel Norse over the line in 3rd place ahead of Gunnar Wright and Aaron Beattie. There's been shuffling around further down the order, and that's Callum Williams and Finley TW fighting away through turn 1. Albert Henriksen Bell waiting in the wings. He set the outright fastest sector 2 of anybody up the inside of Finley to pick up what is 10th place. Apologies for the timing tower on the left hand side. It may not look like it makes sense at the moment. Hopefully we can get that somewhat updated as the race goes on. So along the Cooper Straight once more, Charlie Devlin now with the fastest sector 1. What can he do about getting the fastest sector 2 and potentially getting the fastest lap of the race in the early stages of the race. We've still got 15 minutes to go. So over the line he will go in a few moments' time. Still being chased by Carl Felbus, but 2/10 the gap comes out. Fastest lap of the race does indeed go the way of Charlie Devlin with a 57.145. So Charlie Devlin leads from Carl Felbus, Gabriel Norse, Gunnar Wright and Nathan Williams, your top 5. So Nathan Williams will be trying to make it 2 from 2 here at Brands Hatch, but he's got a couple of cars to try and get through. Catherine Potter tries to get out the way as best as possible, returning to the circuit after a brief spell in the pit lane. Still keeping an eye on Callum Williams, who has dropped down into 10th place now, albeit Finley TW in 11th isn't too far away, and neither is Albert Henriksen Bell up the road, who's just worked his way through and past the lapped traffic of Catherine Potter. Had a couple of cars run wide on the exit of turn 1, and you see the sector 1 timings are flood with red as yet further cars just push the limits. Thomas Potter opting for the pit lane, it's said. I think that may have just been the exit he managed to get a hold of. Nathan Williams has had something of a moment, I think, coming out the final corner, because he's dropping down the order. Now down into 10th place is Nathan Williams, still fighting away with Callum Williams. Charlie Devlin over the line that time and has extended the lead margin up to 0.6 of a second. So Charlie Devlin still leads. What of the classes? Charlie Devlin leading the juniors, Kyle Felbus leading the seniors. They are first and second on the road as well. So those two continue to fight away, and I think there may be a interruption in this race. We've had a moment for one of the Taylors further down the order. Who is that? That's Jordan Taylor, who has had a moment on the exit of turn number 1, and he unfortunately has dropped right the way down into what is 22nd place now for Jordan Taylor. And I've got a feeling, we're just hearing there may be a chance that we have to restart this race. So we are going to be restarting this race. We had 12.5 minutes remaining on the clock. So the drivers will work their way back to the pit lane and back onto the grid, and then we'll be able to have another opportunity of getting this race back underway. So for those that maybe didn't have the best start, get another stab at this one. So apologies, we became a radio show for a brief moment there. We will get everything back up and running. I'd imagine we've got, what, 2.5 minutes until we get the race underway. So we may just buy ourselves a little bit of time and maybe run an ad break or two, and then we can be back with you once we've got any issues sorted on our end. So please do bear with us. We'll be back with you in a few moments' time to see the resumption of race number 2. So welcome back, everybody. We will get the race 2 back underway in a few moments' time. We've managed to get the order on the grid shuffled back into their relative positions. So that means that Gunnar Wright will retake his position on the front row of the grid. Catherine Potter, who we noticed had a brief spell in the pit lane in the first aspect of race 2, she will return to the second spot on the grid, so we should be able to see what she can do this time with another stab at the 20-minute race on the way. Peter Cornelius lines up alongside in 3rd, Jake Wardle in 4th, and Ollie Hutton in 5th place. And for Charlie Devlin, obviously he was leading the way with Kyle Felvis in tow. Nathan Williams was down in 5th place. Are we going to see something similar this time by? Will we see Charlie Devlin get back to the front? He was on for a good race and was trying to build the gap as best he could. So with the race getting closer and closer, I'm just going to see if I can update anything on my end. At present, Nathan Williams is on 99 points. So he is clear of Albert Henriksen Bell, who is on 78, but this is pre-race 2, so this could still see a massive shuffle in the order by way of drivers that are tying on points. Those that were in the TOCA Seniors, Jordan Taylor's lead margin in the championship has come down to only 9 points now, and Kyle Felvis, we know he's got the pace. He won race 1 and was on for a class win in race 2, so we'll see what he can do in race number 2. Leo Bell's only 8 points back from Kyle Felvis. Nicky Taylor, albeit with a week off, is in 4th place and now clear of Peter Cornelius by just a couple of points. And there is the grid. All the drivers back to their relative positions to get themselves back racing once again. Perfect with the order. Catherine Potter is there. Harry Dios has disappeared from the grid. I think he's jumped back into the pit lane by the looks of it. So Harry Dios, I don't think we will see him take the race starting from the pit lane. Hopefully we do see him join us out on circuit in just a few moments time. The lights are getting readied for what is the 3rd time this evening. 6 red lights. And race number 2 gets underway. I think we saw a jump start for a car slightly further down the order, so there may be a drive-through penalty going the way of exactly who that was. I'm just not sure. And Nicky Taylor in the background is trying to find himself a bit of space with all the cars giving chase. A cracking start from Gunnar Wright. Catherine Potter gets collected up in an accident, spins in front of the field. A couple of cars find themselves in the gravel. There's a big shuffle in the order. The majority of cars got through. A bit more contact with Nicky Taylor. Kyle Felvis is involved. Gabriel Norson. I think Charlie Devlin was involved. Nicky Taylor is fighting away with Nathan Williams in the background as well, but as the race starts to spread out a bit, there's another car spinning through the middle of the road. A couple of cars get caught up in that one as well, heading on towards the Cooper Straight. Gunnar Wright's lead right the way up to the best part of 2 seconds. Peter Cornelius has had a good start to his race. Leo Bell now looking up the inside of Finley TW in the background. Position made up into 3rd place. Another couple of cars going wide. That's Jake Wardle and Ollie Hutton. Thomas Potter hasn't had the best start to his races. He drops his way right the way down the order as well, and all of a sudden the field is somewhat halved, but Gunnar Wright with a cracking start to his race, 2 seconds clear up at the front. Charlie Devlin and Jordan Taylor have carved their way up into 7th and 8th. Elliot Newbury's in 9th, Nicky Taylor in 10th place. Currently leading the senior class is Peter Cornelius from Leo Bell from Callum Williams. The junior class lead is going to the outright race leader of Gunnar Wright and Finley, who we're watching at the moment. And then it's Jake Critchley, who is in 6th place and 3rd in the junior class at the moment. But our top 3 in the TOCA senior class are 2nd, 3rd and 4th on the road. Jordan Taylor, you can see the black and Dayglow yellow car with blue flashes, is not that far away from those leaders and is now trying to dive up the inside of not just 1 but 2 as well. So Jordan Taylor fires his way up the inside of Finley, fires his way up the inside of Jake Critchley, and all of a sudden Charlie Devlin is on the scene. So Charlie Devlin right the way up into 6th place. What of Nathan Williams? He's currently down in 12th place. Kyle Felvis is in 13th, so he's not had the start he would have wanted to the resumption of race number 2. Jordan Taylor is going to lose out to Charlie Devlin. A bit of contact between the pair of them. They both make their way around Paddock Hill Bend. Charlie Devlin, he's now up into 4th place and 2nd place in the TOCA Junior class. Jordan Taylor, having worked his way through and past Peter Cornelius, picks up 3rd place in the TOCA Senior class. And then we get a pack of cars involved in that one, with the car spinning in front. Everybody just about manages to avoid it. Nicky Taylor, I think, had the cat-like reactions to get out of the way. Another car spinning. That's Gabriel Norse that gets collected up in that one. It was Peter Cornelius. His race is just going from bad to worse. We saw him up in 2nd place, and now he's tumbled right the way down to 14th in the matter of, what, just a couple of laps. There is Gabriel Norse looking for a move up the inside of Finley. Position somewhat made. The next target will be Jake Critchley. However, he gets a good exit out of the final corner and will decide whether to defend that position in towards turn 1. Jordan Taylor has got through and past Callum Williams. So Charlie Devlin now up into 3rd place. Jordan Taylor up into 4th. Charlie Devlin 2nd place in the TOCA Junior class. Jordan Taylor up into 2nd place in the TOCA Senior class. So it's going to get very, very close over the next couple of laps. 16.5 minutes of this race remaining. Albert Henriksen Bell didn't have the start to his race that he will have wanted. He's currently down in 19th place, still with a bit of time to find, you'd imagine, and we'll try and close in on those cars up the road. Nathan Williams has had a good couple of laps. He's now up into 7th place and will look to bridge the gap between himself and those cars up the road. Jordan Taylor into the final corner he will go, still hunting down Charlie Devlin, and we'll just try and follow in the wheel tracks and minimise any time lost. Kyle Felvis is starting to apply a bit of pressure onto Nicky Taylor. This will be for 4th in the TOCA Senior class, and any mistake from Leo Bell, Jordan Taylor and Callum Williams will be welcomed by Nicky Taylor and Kyle Felvis, I'm sure. Nathan Williams goes through to set the fastest lap of the race, a 57.567. Currently watching Elliot Newbury work his way through and past Callum Williams. He's up into, 5th place overall at present. Kyle Felvis has got through and past Nicky Taylor, so that's a swap for 4th place in the TOCA Senior class. Onto the Cooper Straight once more. And Elliot Newbury now, he's going to try and catch up to Jordan Taylor up the road and get himself even further injected into that top 5. Leo Bell now trying to apply pressure for the outright race lead, but as soon as he gets there, so too does Charlie Devlin. So Gunnar Wright putting up the best fight he can at the moment. Leo Bell is trying to get the lead. Charlie Devlin is trying to get through and pass Leo for 2nd place outright. In towards Paddock Hill Bend they go. Charlie Devlin looks for the outside line, late on the brakes, now looks for the cutback. Gunnar Wright too hot into turn 1. That drags him wide into the gravel. Is Charlie Devlin going to have a look up the inside of Leo Bell in towards Druids Corner? Yes, he is. So Charlie Devlin late on the brakes, up the inside, position made, and the race lead changes. So Charlie Devlin into the race lead. Leo Bell had it for, just a couple of hundred metres before it swapped around. So Charlie Devlin goes through to take the lead. And now Leo Bell, he's not just defending the race lead from what he was a few moments ago, he's now defending the class lead from Jordan Taylor. This is the fight for the top spot in the TOCA Senior class. To McLaren and Clearways, the pair of them go, and Jordan Taylor, for me, he wants to get through and past and then reassert himself onto the coattails of Charlie Devlin and see what he can do by making inroads from there. Ollie Hutton, he is under pressure from Albert Henriksen Bell. A few moments ago we saw Albert in 19th place. He's up into 17th place. A swap for Gabriel Norse and Nicky Taylor as they go over the line. Nicky Taylor has dropped yet further, and Jordan Taylor has now got through and past Leo Bell. So Leo Bell loses the lead in the TOCA Senior class. Albert Henriksen Bell is very, very brave around the outside of Ollie Hutton at Paddock Hill Bend. It will be the outside for Druids once more. Also getting in on the action is Jack Price. So this little trio having a really good battle. Heading down into Graham Hill Bend. Albert Henriksen Bell again just biding his time, wanting to be patient, letting the race come to him. Gets the better exit onto the Cooper Straight. It will be the inside for Surtees, which will become the outside for McLaren and Clearways. A bit of contact between the pair of them, but Albert Henriksen Bell stays strong on the outside, slightly earlier on the brakes, but that allows him to pick up the throttle. He's looking for the better exit onto the start-finish line once again. The pair of them absolutely level. By the time they get to the timing beam, I think they're going to be even closer than what we just saw. Albert Henriksen Bell's almost there. It will be the outside for Paddock Hill Bend, or is he going to do what Charlie Devlin did and brake early? No, not this time, but all the way around the outside. Position made. Great move by Albert Henriksen Bell up into 16th place. And I think that has more or less cost Ollie Hutton another place. Turns in unsighted. Jack Price gets shuffled wide, and Ollie Hutton for now holds on to 17th place. A big, big moment for Jack Price. Gets the car back pointing the right way once again. but a bit of time lost for him. Elliot Newbury has lost out to Nathan Williams, so Charlie Devlin leads from Jordan Taylor, 1.2 seconds the gap. Leo Bell from Nathan Williams and Elliot Newbury. Carl Felbus currently sat in 6th place from Gabriel Norse and Nicky Taylor, who is under pressure from Callum Williams. Nicky Taylor just seems to be dropping further down the order. He's now 4th in the TOCA Senior class. That could become 5th if Callum Williams works his way through and past in towards turn 1. There was a half look, but not quite enough on this occasion. Nicky Taylor tucked up and behind the rear wing of Gabriel Norse in 7th and 8th respectively. Looking at the inside now is Nicky Taylor. Can't quite get the door open, gets a good exit down the hill, but he's got to worry about any mistake, as that will go unpunished. Well, that will go punished by Callum Williams, and I think, yeah, just a bit too much space given on the inside. A big move up the inside from Callum Williams, and they are still level heading along the Cooper Straight. By the time they get to Surtees, Nicky Taylor somehow holds on to that position, but that little battle has cost him a bit of time. They've now lost out to Gabriel Norse. Carl Felbus through and past Elliot Newbury, pardon me. So Elliot Newbury gets shuffled down to 6th place. Kyle Felbus up into 5th. It wasn't a change in class, but Kyle Felbus currently sat 3rd. I was going to say 3rd in class, remains 3rd in class, but shuffles back down to 6th place as Elliot Newbury gets back up the inside once again, but they're going to swap once more. By the time we get to Druids, contact between the pair of them. But Kyle Felbus back up into 5th place. Very close indeed. So Charlie Devlin leading the way from Jordan Taylor. And it is Leo Bell who are 1st and 2nd in the senior class. Nathan Williams in 4th place, 2nd in the junior class. Carl Felbus currently sat in 5th place. And rounding out your podium at present, at the halfway point in the senior class, Elliot Newbury and Gabriel Norse, currently 3rd and 4th in the junior class. Thomas Potter trying to fight his way through the order, but contact between himself and Ollie Hutton, that puts him wide and out into the grass. So Ollie Hutton, I think, was just trying to get the best run through, and the mix of the car on the inside nibbling at the curb and Ollie Hutton trying to get the best run through. The pair of them went for the same part of circuit. There is Jake Critchley. He's trying to find a bit of room on the inside of Gunnar Wright, who at one point was leading this race for the best part of, 6 or 7 minutes. And it just all came unravelled with that mistake at turn 1. Still fighting away. Jake Critchley on the outside. Gunnar Wright on the inside, heading onto the Cooper Straight. A good exit, however, by Jake Critchley. Is he going to have a look to the outside? Yes, he is. Brings the car over to the outside, but it was a little bit too late. Albert Henriksen Bell in the background going for a bit of a moment. Ollie Wilcox tumbling his way down the order, so he's had a bit of a moment. That was on the exit of Graham Hill Bend. Gets the car back pointing the right way again, albeit with some substantial time loss and a few positions lost. There is Leo Bell, who has now lost out to Nathan Williams. So Nathan Williams on a mission. He's worked his way onto the outright podium, currently sat 3rd in the TOCA Junior class. Jordan Taylor still leading the way in the TOCA Senior class. Charlie Devlin leading the race outright. So our top 6 includes our top 3 in both classes at the moment. And unfortunately, Gunnar Wright, I don't know whether he was tipped into a spin. I don't know whether there was contact between themselves. That was Gunnar Wright and Jake Critchley we were watching at the time. So Gunnar Wright's race goes from bad to worse as he waits for the opportune moment to spin the car through 180 degrees and gets going once again. But he's right the way down in 19th place. Jake Wardle is in 10th place just about, because Aaron Beattie is there. So too is Jake Critchley, who's really started to turn up the wick and trying to force his way into that top 10 at the moment. Along the line, or across the line, they will go to head on to lap number 13. 12 laps in the books, 7 3/4 minutes remaining. Kyle Felbus gets through and past Leo Bell. That's a battle for 2nd place in the TOCA Senior class. Leo Bell still holds on to the inside towards Graham Hill Bend, onto the Cooper Straight, all the way around the outside. Kyle Felbus gets a bit of a nudge, but just about gets 4th place on the road and 2nd place in class. A good or well-worked overtake that was from Kyle Felbus. He was there or thereabouts for a long while, finally found the gap that he wanted and the opportune moment to go for it. Position made for Kyle Felbus. He will work his way up into 4th place. Nathan Williams up the road just continues to drive away from the cars behind and close down onto the top 2 of Jordan Taylor and Charlie Devlin. What of Nicky Taylor? Whereabouts is he? He's currently sat in 8th place, and I think he's just set his personal fastest lap of the race. Yes, he has, a 57.591. The fastest lap of the race at the moment goes the way of Nathan Williams. He bettered that just a lap ago on a 57.217. Jake Wardle now loses out to Aaron Beattie. We said it was going to be close. Jake Critchley is there as well. He tightens up the line on the exit just to try and open up a bit of room for him to dive into towards Druids. A half look, not quite the time to go for it, but you can tell just by the body language of Jake Critchley's car, he's pushing on, and Jake Wardle isn't willing to let Aaron Beattie get away with that position. That is a battle in class as well, so points on the line between them. Thomas Potter through and past Peter Cornelius will try and do the same to Jack Price up the road in the bright blue machine. That will be for 15th and 16th respectively. Again, another interclass battle, so points on the line. Harry Dios, his race, he's not had the best evening, has he? If he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all, and unfortunately down in 21st place. That's somewhat ringing true for Harry Dios. Jake Critchley is still applying the pressure onto Jake Wardle. In towards turn 1, is the opportunity going to present itself? No, not this time for Jake. So they remain in 11th and 12th, but Aaron Beattie, Jake Wardle and Jake Critchley all fighting within the same class, and the recovering Albert Henriksen Bell starting to make himself known in the background. Thomas Potter late on the brakes up the inside of Jack Price at turn 1. Position made up into 15th place, and another position made in class as well, so valuable points go the way of Thomas Potter. Gunnar Wright unfortunately has returned to the pit lane, so I think his race just isn't going that great. I saw him jump back to the pit lane. He's returning to the circuit, so hopefully all is well with Gunnar Wright. There is Gabriel Norse. He's currently chasing down Elliot Newbury. That is a battle in class. That will be a battle for the final step on the TOCA Junior class podium. So Gabriel Norse, after a race 1 that was rather frantic indeed, he'll be hoping to salvage some good points and potentially a podium out of race number 2. All the way around the outside at Druids, you've got to be very brave, but if you can make it stick, it gives you the inside for Graham Hill Ben. What a move by Gabriel Norse. Found the grip on the outside, and he doesn't even need to worry about Graham Hill Ben because the position's already made. So Gabriel Norse up into 6th place overall and 3rd place in the TOCA Junior category. But immediately Elliot Newbury tries to fight back. It will be the outside that is awarded to him, and I don't think that will be the opportune moment with 4.5 minutes to go. He's got a bit of time still in the bag to try and fight that battle once again. Charlie Devlin's lead up at 2.1 seconds now. Jordan Taylor still sat there in 2nd place. Jake Critchley losing out to Albert Henriksen Bell. We said he was getting closer and making himself known. Position made for Albert Henriksen Bell, so he jumps up into 12th place, and that's a position outright for him, so another couple of points. He will focus on catching Jake Wardle and Aaron Beattie, which shouldn't be that difficult, purely because the way they are battling, it is going to cost them time. Thomas Potter still fighting away with Ollie Hutton. This is one of those interclass battles that we mentioned at the start of the evening. 14th and 15th, both in different classes, but Thomas Potter will want to get through and past Ollie Hutton with 3 3/4 minutes to go. And the gap to the cars up the road being at the best part of 7.5 seconds. We may see this battle rage on till the very last lap, whilst Thomas Potter up the inside later on the brakes. Trying to hold it around the outside is Ollie Hutton. Can't quite find the grip, but Ollie will try and fight back. That's a guarantee over the next, 2.5, 3 laps that we should have remaining. So Charlie Devlin over the line once again. His lead margin remains at 2 seconds, so controlling the race from the front. Jake Wardle and Aaron Beattie fighting away. What did I say? Albert Henriksen Bell will close in. Nicky Taylor has just got through and past Elliot Newbury for 7th and 8th. They continue to swap around on the timing screen as the battle we watch is fans out. Ollie Hutton tries to hold on to the middle, then decides he needs to hold on to the inside because Jake Wardle is there. Albert Henriksen Bell's earlier on the brakes. That will allow him to shorten the exits. Jumps on the throttle as early as possible. He might just get 2 for the price of 1 on the run up towards Druids. A bit of contact between himself and Aaron Beattie, but very, very well worked once again from Albert Henriksen Bell. He saw what was happening, decided he's going to hamper himself early to get that better exit. Brilliant move from Albert, and is up into the top 10 now. And they were, both of those positions were for a class position as well, so points gained and points added to the tally for Albert Henriksen Bell's championship charge. Nathan Williams, he's in 3rd place just about, but Jordan Taylor is the only thing separating him from second place, and they're only separated by the best part of 1.5 tenths of a second. Aaron Beattie, we saw him fighting away with Albert Henriksen Bell and Jake Wardle just a few moments ago. A mistake has dropped him down into 16th place and out of the running for a spot inside that top 10, unfortunately. So Aaron Beattie, that's all she wrote for his race. He might be able to get up the road and assert his attentions onto Jack Price. Catherine Potter puts the car on the outside of the road to allow the quicker cars through. Clever driving once again from Catherine Potter. She's been really hot on her mirrors throughout the season and has done a brilliant job of getting out of the way, so fair play to Catherine Potter. Nathan Williams still applying that pressure onto Jordan Taylor. We're going to have 2 laps remaining. Charlie Devlin over the line with 1 minute and 30 to go, so there'll be this lap and one more. Nathan Williams is running out of time and overtaking opportunities. Into turn 1, it was almost there. Into Druid's a very good overtaking opportunity if you can nail the exit at Paddock Hill Bend. Is he going to have a look? Yes, he is, and it's a half look. It was half committed, but the door is slammed in his face as Jordan Taylor wants to hold on to second place in class, whilst at the moment it seems like Nathan Williams, he wants to go for the move, but he just can't quite get there. And Jordan Taylor, he wants to hold on to second place outright. There's no reason for him to really fight this because he gets the points in class, not outright. And for Jordan Taylor to be fighting it the way he is just brilliant to see, because it shows that whilst they are in different classes, doesn't mean that you should avoid a battle. But now Nathan Williams Price open the door on the inside of the final corner. By the time we get towards the line to go on to the final lap of the race, Jordan Taylor is going to be absolutely level with him. He's going to have to be very, very brave on the outside at Paddock Hill Bend, or is he going to have a look for the cutback? He tries to look for the cutback and times it to perfection. There must have been the slightest of touches between front and rear bumper, and Jordan Taylor just about holds on to second place as we are now desperately close to seeing the clock count down to 0. Nathan Williams really wants to get onto the second step of the podium, second step of the overall podium, and Jordan Taylor is desperate to hold on to it. There's nothing between them. Charlie Devlin up the road got to the front and has driven away ever since. The gap was 2 seconds, it's now 4.2 seconds, so almost 2.5 seconds has been lost. Nathan Williams dives up the inside. There's contact between the pair of them. It's going to be a run to the line, but I think Nathan Williams has done enough. But Charlie Devlin towards the line for the final time this evening. He will come through to claim honours in race number 2. He takes the win outright, and the junior class race win. Nathan Williams picks up second place on the very final lap, and second place in the junior class. It will be Jordan Taylor over the line to finish in third place overall and to win the senior class. Carl Felmus over the line, fourth overall and second in the senior class. Gabriel Norse rounds out your junior class podium and the top 5. Leo Bell over the line to claim third place in the senior class. Then it will be Nicky Taylor in 7th, Elliot Newbury in 8th place, Callum Williams in 9th, Albert Henriksen Bell rounds out your top 10. Brilliant drive from Albert Henriksen Bell to get into that top 10. Thomas Potter over the line to finish in 11th, Jake Critchley in 12th place, Jake Wardle over the line in 13th, Ollie Hutton in 14th place, Jake Wardle was 13th, Jake Price over the line in 15th, Peter Cornelius in 16th place. We await the arrival of Aaron Beattie, who's hunted to the line by Finley to finish in 18th and 19th positions respectively, and it will be Ollie Wilcox, your final finisher on the lead lap. Matt Raid, Catherine Potter and Gunnar Wright have already gone through and taken the checkered flag, and unfortunately Ollie Watson didn't see the checkered flag on this occasion. But Charlie Devlin joins us in the commentary box. What was that like from your perspective, Charlie? Because the first lap of the race, first couple of laps, seemed very, very busy, I think is the best adjective to use. And then from there, it was the 2-second gap that seemed to just stay at 2 seconds. You controlled the pace.
Yeah, it was a hectic race, that's for sure. Got my way through on race 1, race 2 even. But got my way through at the start, made as many positions as I could, stayed out of trouble, managed to pick my way through, made a little bit of a gap, and then it was just sort of keeping it relatively consistent through there.
And of course, the championship has come slightly closer between yourself and those cars up the road. I think you have either closed in or surpassed Albert Henriksen Bell, so that should drop you to or bump you up to second place. Alton Park in a couple of weeks, or in a week's time, pardon me. What are you going to do heading into there? Because that is probably the most complex track that we've got on the calendar. There's plenty of overtaking opportunities. There's massive amounts of elevation change. It's going to be a good round.
I hope so. I've shown that I have the pace to win both races. Obviously hasn't gone my way in any of the rounds we've had so far, but we'll see as we go on.
Great stuff. Always good to chat, Charlie. A massive congratulations on a race 2 win, and we'll see you in a week's time at Alton.
Thank you.
So good to chat to Charlie Devlin, our race 2 outright winner and junior class winner as well. Jordan Taylor joins us in the commentary box once again. That seemed like a race of two halves for you, because the first half of the race seemed rather conservative and just trying to pick your way through and pick the battles wisely. And then race 2, the part 2 just seemed to be trying to drive away, stick with Charlie up the road, but all of a sudden there was a Nathan Williams getting ever larger in your rearview mirror.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get to the front of the pack, knowing I would be first in class. That's all I wanted. If I won overall, that's a benefit. I was going to try to work with Charlie, but he done what Charlie loves to, dawed me out of the way. But it's all good because that's how we race. But I was going to try to work with him, but he had other ideas, which is you're your own man when you race. So he got past me. I think we came up to some traffic, and then it broke the slipstream. And then there was once throughout the slipstream, I think he was just a tenth quicker a lap, or he'd he'd go faster by 3 tenths, and he might have a little mistake, and he'd still be quicker. So once that happened, we was just getting through traffic. We came up to, and then I got held up by a bit of traffic, which meant Nathan got to me a bit quicker than he should have. But once again, that's racing, and then me and Nathan had a little battle once again. Door-to-door action.
Wow, it was great to watch, absolutely. A similar question to what I asked Charlie. Obviously, the championship is somewhat still wide open. You now extend the lead, whilst Carl Fulvis had drawn you in very slightly in race 1. You've extended it once more in race 2. Alton Park, stranger things have happened at sea, so the championship is far from settled. Is there anything you're going to do between now and then to give yourself the best chance? Is it just all about mileage?
Well, more for Alton is more about the laps you do. With brands, everyone knows how to go around brands. It's just, especially Indy, it's not hard. But Alton, I will have to put some laps in, finding the time to do that as well. But yeah, I mean, if I can win this championship, I know I've been here probably the longest, and it'll be the first championship I've won. I've come second, I've come third, I've done all of it. I know it's not an overall win, but a class win at the end of the day. So it'd be quite a good way, because I know I said this last time, but unless they surprise me or surprise everyone with another late minute championship, and this will actually be my last one. So if we can end it on a championship win, then that'd just be even better.
Well, provisional results, obviously, barring anything post-race, you are 9 points behind Nathan Williams for the outright championship if you were to work it out like that. So definitely a gap. I'm sure you can close down. Anything can happen at Alton Park. But absolute pleasure to talk as always, Jordan, and massive congratulations for a race 2 class win, and fingers crossed we can speak to you a bit more in a week's time at Alton Park.
Cheers, Jack.
Great to talk to Jordan Taylor. And after this evening's action, let's have a look at how the provisional championship standings look. Nathan Williams is on 99 points. On my end, I've got 117, but I think that's with race 2 discounted for the moment. So Nathan Williams on 117 points, Charlie Devlin on 93, Albert Henriksen-Bell on 89 points, and it's Gabriel Norse on 82, Elliot Newbury 61, and I will allow you to run through the rest of the junior standings as you wish. As we look at the senior standings, it's Jordan Taylor on 108, Carl Fulvis on 97, Leo Bell on 86, 20 points back is Nicky Taylor, 66, and only 6 points back from there is the first of the KKM cars, who join themselves up 5th, 6th and 7th of Peter Cornelius, Matt Reid and Ollie Hutton. I will allow you to, once again, work your way through the senior standings as you wish. So we've said it all night. There's only one round left, round number 4, the 27th of March, same time, same place. Join us next week as we head to Alton Park. It's going to be definitely one to turn up for the books, and that's where we decide who wins those 2 British Touring Car Championship tickets to a round of their choosing But myself, Jack Werrell, has joined you in the commentary box this evening. Tom O'Farrell, massive hats off for dealing with the issues this evening and still bringing us some beautiful imagery to watch along. And of course, Mick Sutton, who's hard at work at Donington Park, setting up for a fabulous weekend with TCR UK. Once again, if you do want to get behind the wheel of a perfect acceleration sim racing rig, get yourself to Donington Park this weekend for the inaugural round, the 2025 TCR UK Championship. Get yourself over to the PASR tent where you can have a go yourself. But a massive thank you to everybody watching along at home, everybody that puts in the work in the background, and for all the drivers for putting on a brilliant show once again. In the meantime, we'll see you in a week's time at Alton Park. Bye-bye.